The gathering storm. In the far reaches of the Milky Way, great starfaring civilizations vied for supremacy. The arthropoid Zix Empire, the crystalline Vok League, the hive-minded Kroll. These ancient powers had carved up much of the galaxy between them. Whispers began circulating of a new spacefaring species originating from an unremarkable yellow star on the Orion Spur. Humans, they were called, and rumor held that they had constructed colossal vessels known as supercarriers, far mightier than anything the other races possessed. The Galactic Council met to discuss this potential threat. "I say we conquer them now, before their power grows too great," Admiral Xyloth of the Zix declared, pounding his claw on the podium. Chancellor Vax of the Vok demurred. "If we leave them be, perhaps they will become a stabilizing influence, a counterweight to our old rivalries." But Xyloth's hawkish faction won out. A grand invasion fleet was assembled, the greatest the galaxy had ever seen, uniting the ships and soldiers of a dozen vassal races. Their destination, the human world known as Earth. Arrival at Sol. Xyloth stood on the bridge of his dreadnought, the pride of Zixia, watching the blue-white light of hyperspace stream past the viewports. Soon, they would reach the human solar system and put an end to their upstart ambitions. The fleet dropped out of warp at the edge of the system the humans called Sol. But as the stars stretched out into normal space, Xyloth felt his claw reflexively clench. Ahead of them, between their fleet and the blue-green world of the humans, stood a most fearsome sight. A human supercarrier, easily 10 kilometers long, escorted by a full battle group. The human ships hung in space, an impenetrable wall bristling with gun turrets and missile batteries. Xyloth's scans showed that the carrier's flight decks swarmed with scores of fighter craft, an awe-inspiring display of the humans' military-industrial might. "This is Admiral Catherine Hu of Earth Defense Force Supercarrier Atlas." A female human voice crackled over the comms, her image appearing on the view screen. "You have entered the territory of the Human Alliance. Turn back now or be destroyed." Xyloth forced down his apprehension. His fleet still vastly outnumbered the humans. "All ships, engage the enemy." He snarled, "For the glory of the allied clans." The tide turns. The assault on the human battle group began well enough. Zix battle cruisers and Vok crystal ships pounded the Earth vessels with plasma cannons and graviton beams. Human ships exploded under the onslaught, scattering molten debris across the void. But then the supercarrier Atlas began disgorging swarms of fighters and attack drones, far more than Xyloth had believed could be housed in one ship. Like angry hornets, they tore into the invasion fleet, stinging and destroying dozens of ships. Admiral Hu's strategy soon became clear. With her attack craft savaging Xyloth's fleet from all sides, her capital ships focused fire on the linchpins of the invasion force, the Zix dreadnoughts, the Vok world cutters. Coordinating their attacks with vicious precision, the humans shattered the spine of the fleet. As the alien forces crumbled into disarray, Xyloth began to realize that he had made a terrible mistake. The human ships, while fewer in number, were vastly more advanced than Intel had suggested, their weapons more powerful, their defenses more resilient, and their coordination and tactical acumen were like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. The invading ships fell back, regrouping beyond the range of the human defenders. On the bridge of the Pride of Zixia, a deathly silence fell as the admirals and shiplords realized the predicament they now faced. The road to Sol was not the walkover they had imagined, but a death trap of the humans' making. Desperate measures. In the heart of EDF Supercarrier Atlas, a squad of Zix commandos stalked through eerily empty corridors. They were the finest warriors the Empire had to offer, their carapaces gene-forged for stealth and deadliness, and they had a critical mission: sabotage the human carrier from within and eliminate their fleet's command crew. The boarders emerged onto a vast, multi-level atrium, a cavernous space that seemed to span the entire width of the ship, and they found themselves face to face with a full company of armored human marines, weapons leveled at the ready. Earth Defense Force, Open fire. The Marine captain bellowed. The atrium erupted into a storm of thunder and flame as the two forces engaged in vicious close-quarters battle. The Zix commandos were superb fighters, their razor-sharp claws and plasma blades reaping a terrible toll on the humans. But the Atlas Marines refused to give an inch, pouring relentless streams of armor-piercing rounds into the Xenos. Even their drones swarmed to the fight, electrified pincers snapping and stabbing. In the end, not a single Zix infiltrator was left alive, but the humans had paid a steep butcher's bill to stop them. Smoke and debris choked the atrium, and nearly 30 Marines lay dead or maimed, their blood slick on the deck. The commando attack had been thwarted, but the Atlas had been badly mauled from within. Victory and aftermath. With damage control crews working feverishly to contain the sabotage, the Atlas and her escorts surged to the attack once more. Admiral Hu led from the front, her forces falling on the demoralized invaders like wolves upon sheep. The climactic battle was swift and terrible. The supercarrier's converging fighter wings tore the heart from the invasion fleet, while human capital ships shattered the remaining Vok and Zix dreadnoughts with merciless volleys. The once mighty armada fell to pieces, scattered husks of scorched metal spinning through the void. Xyloth, admiral of fleets, shiplord of the allied clans, found himself kneeling in surrender, hands bound, on the bridge of the Pride of Zixia. He looked up into the impassive face of Admiral Catherine Hu and knew that the galaxy would never be the same. News of the humans' overwhelming victory spread like stardust on the solar wind. Some of the old powers, like the Vok, immediately sued for peace with the human alliance. Others, like the Kroll, turned inward, suddenly wary of the new shape of the galactic chessboard. And on Earth, in the halls of power, human leaders faced a choice. Would they use their newfound military and technological might to expand their dominion, or would they act as reluctant galactic policemen, intervening only to keep the peace? The eternal question of empires, to conquer or to protect, would be the work of a generation. But today, as the Atlas and her battle group sailed triumphant into the skies of Earth, one thing was clear: a new player had emerged on the galactic stage. The human supercarrier was a signifier of a power that would reshape the cosmos for centuries to come.